Hi, this is George Ouzounian.
And I'm Gina Michelle, and you are watching Jessica Fury Podcast.
Tune in every Monday for the latest podcasts.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Gina, Michelle, and George Ouzounian. They are top producing real estate agents in California and with the agency. They have over $1 billion in sales to date. Last year, they closed $213 million. They have been featured in LA Magazine as the top real estate stars in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. They have also been featured as number 4 in LA and number 29 of Small Team of LA Business Journal. They are the top 1% in the nation in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. You guys have a lot to compete with. Gina,
I was like, wow.
That's a great record.
amazing. I'm like getting inspired from that. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having
that's
us.
amazing.
Yeah, we're our own competition.
I feel like when you hear it, you like forget sometimes like
It's a good
how
reminder.
far you've come.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so like everything's about perspective, but like when you hear those things, you're like, wow, like I've done really well for myself.
I think too, when your personality is like ours, we are always thinking, what can we do better? How can we improve? And I think our personality types fail to look back and say, where have we come,
Yeah.
right? Like how far we got. So I think even for us hearing
You
it.
do tend to forget because like we're so on the go.
Yeah.
And time passes by quickly and you're always busy.
Yeah.
You don't have time to like really appreciate your success and just take a pause. We do that with our vacations, I guess.
Yes, we do. We're good at that. We're good at taking
we
a
take
vacation.
really nice breaks and
Yeah.
we celebrate our wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, time passes by and you know, you hit one goal and all right, well, let's double it now and let's double it and let's push and see how far we could take this.
Right.
But did you start with a goal? Like did you where you're saying that you're going after a goal?
Yeah,
Did you
'cause
start with a goal?
We always have a goal.
Right.
Beginning, December, we set our goals for the next year and we hit them. Great. Now, usually we have a double method.
Yeah.
We like to double it. So whatever that goal was, let's double it next year. Let's double it next year.
Yeah.
And that's continuously in the last couple of years. Now we have a really high double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to hit.
We're trying to hit 500 million
in 1 year.
In 1 year.
But you will do that. And
Oh, yeah.
before and I think like I want to go back, but before we continue, I want to remind you guys to like and subscribe to the podcast because it continues to bring amazing people like Gina and George onto the podcast.
Yes, do that.
You know, when I first came into the agency and everyone was like, Gina and George, do you know what my first thought was? And I don't know if you guys get this. I was like, oh, I guess they're husband and wife.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I guess they're husband and wife. Do you guys get that? What is the connection that you guys have made that you started a partnership, a team business partnership? Can you take me back?
Yeah, absolutely. We do get that a lot.
Yeah.
She just posted a funny post about that.
Yeah.
It's her on my right, my wife is on my left, and she said work wife
And
Oh, I
real
saw
life.
that.
And real
I saw
life.
that. I saw that. That
And
was cute.
you know, it's funny because like just for everyone that doesn't know, like we are his wife and my husband, all 4 of us are best friends. So we have like a real friendship outside of our
Outside
work,
of work.
Partnership. It's not just a partnership. We're all very good friends.
It started with they had a mortgage brokerage office.
They being me and my husband.
Can you give me a time frame?
Yeah,
I like
this is back in
specifics.
2000, right before I think 8, before the
07.
crash.
07.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing banking and mortgages at Washington Mutual in Studio City, and one partner that they had came by and we built a relationship, and he said you should come meet my partners. I said sure, why not? Always looking for opportunity and growth, and mortgages were great at the time, and that's the first time I met Gina and Coco together was their mortgage office in Studio City. I joined their office. I was a loan officer in their office. We became really close friends. Did a lot of deals together, did mortgages together, market crashed.
Yeah.
And
we had to find ourselves a few times. So yeah, I was the broker in that office, and Coco, my husband, and another partner, we ran a large loan office. We had several loan officers, we had processor, you know, the heyday of loans, like what everybody was doing. And then it crashed. And it was the first of a real, I think it was a big one for me and my husband, a big one for George, because you had a bunch of loans on the pipe, a bunch of commissions that were due to be paid, loans that had closed and recorded, but banks that closed their doors. So we didn't get paid. So when you have a high volume facility, you have rent, you have loan officers that need to be paid, and banks are closing their doors, and you're definitely not getting your commission. So
mind you, that time has been like 5 years for me in the country. And, you know,
where are you from?
Middle East. I'm Middle Eastern Armenian, Lebanese Armenian. We spent some time in Denver, Colorado, moved to LA, got into banking, got into mortgages, and 2004, 5, 6, everything was great. Got into mortgages, oh my God, everything is great. And we were waiting on a really large check.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of out-of-state deals, and that company went bankrupt. No one got paid.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Our dreams were crushed.
And thankfully you guys didn't have kids yet.
No, we didn't.
Because your babies are young.
No, we didn't. And actually, I don't think I was married to Coco yet. No, I wasn't. I didn't get married till 2009. So we weren't married, but we were running the company together. And so some of the loan officers had to leave because they had to go get regular jobs, and that was sad because we weren't just, it was fun, it was a family. Yeah. We were a work family. And then, watching your children leave, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, and then George came and he said, I gotta go. And I was like, yeah, you do.
I feel like my brother is leaving me.
My brother just left. When he walked out, I told Coco, I was like, oh, it hurt so bad, but it just was, we knew he had to go because what else are you going to do? We didn't know how we were going to keep the office afloat. And then we pivoted real quick and we decided to start negotiating modifications. So we brought an attorney and we negotiated thousands of loan modifications and real legitimate loan modifications, and we oversaw all of that. So I took all those processors and turned them into modification managers. We ran that train, and then you came back.
I came back. Loan modifications were hot, so let me come back.
Yeah,
we did that for several years until that slowed down, and I left again.
Yep.
To Chase, B of A, Wells Fargo, different banks, did processing, underwriting, short sales, while they were building, she was licensed from the beginning.
Yeah.
Coco started doing
licensed agent.
I was a broker.
Yeah.
I was a broker in the office. I got my broker's license when I was 23. So I took my agent test. I have a 4-year degree. I immediately took my broker's test, and I used that license to open the brokerage the first time.
But you also were a bartender.
I was a bartender before, and then I got my agent license and got my broker's license immediately, and then left bartending to open the company with my partner.
But the reason I'm bringing that up is because was that your way of making ends meet until you were able to make your ends meet in something else?
Absolutely.
Okay.
it's a hard gig to get out of.
Yeah.
I bartended in a VIP room in a Hollywood club.
Yeah.
And at that time, early 2000s, I was walking away with $500, $600, $700 a night cash. And so that's a hard thing to get out of, but I was tired of it. And I actually initially got my agent license just because my husband was investing in real estate. Well, my husband now, but he was my boyfriend then. And I thought if I just did his deals, I could just capitalize on the commissions there. And I still wanted to be an actress because that's what I was doing. And I thought that that's how I was going to make it. But eventually I remember sitting in the bar and looking around and going, everybody here is twice my age. They were in their 40s and they were still trying to make it as actor bartenders. And I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Like, I don't think I want to do this for another 20 years, right? So got my agent license, decided to open the brokerage. And then after the modification heyday, we were, all those modifications, they turned into short sales because they couldn't afford their payments regardless, right? And so then we started negotiating short sales. And those short sales turned into flip opportunities. So then my husband and I started looking about, okay, if we just buy some of these short sales, we could quickly, put it back on the market. So we would buy one, put it back on the market quickly, buy one, negotiate it down, put it on the market. Okay, then we started going, okay, now we can create a better margin if we just buy it, renovate it, put it back on the market, right? Renovate it, put it back on the market. And eventually that turned into my husband becoming a developer. And actually developing luxury homes that was never on deck or never part of the plan. And that turned into more retail real estate for me eventually. We made a decision somewhere in that short sale, like probably around 2012, 2013, to just go on our own. Our partner and us parted ways, and I decided to open up my own brokerage and just do my own deals. And so I didn't need other agents. I really didn't need anyone underneath me. I was just going to do our own deals. We fix and flip.
Yeah.
We were doing, our own stuff, and
So you managed this friendship.
Yeah.
And did you say, hey, George, like, you should come into real estate? Like, because you left.
What happened is I left, and
we stayed friends the whole time.
So going back to my background, we left literally everything back home, just so my parents didn't want us to grow up in the middle of wars, and not a place any parent would want their kids to grow up in. Left everything there, came here with zero, and just starting our lives and seeing the opportunity, and got into banking and seeing them, meeting them till today. Me and my wife tell them they literally like changed our lives and showed us what's out there, all the opportunity, the circle around you that changes your life, having these certain type of friends that you look up to, your mentors, your coaches. And that's how the journey started. It's meeting them, doing mortgages with them, branching out, coming back a couple of times, then having my parents with the Middle Eastern background of stay with the banking world, you have insurance, you have your consistent pay, you know how much you're making. No, don't do real estate, don't do anything self-employed. I wanted to get into it before. I didn't. Stuck with banking, like they said. Then my last job was with Chase as an underwriter, and 6 months later, they laid everyone off and completely moved operations to Utah and Arizona. And I said, you know what? I think this is my sign. I cashed out my 401k, finally got my license. And when I got my license, they were the first call. And hey, I got my license, ready to get into real estate. She was running her operation from the house, and
I just had my second baby, I think, and so I was just everything downstairs in my home office, like a built out home office. And
in the meantime, we're still friends. We still hung out. We did dinners. We traveled. So as soon as I got my license, first call, let me go get mentored with them. And husband Coco, good friend, he's focused on developments and flips, opportunities. So that was one of the first things I started focusing on, seeing what he does, and being mentored under Gina, literally like 101 on contracts and everything else. And about 6 months I stayed there. 6 months later, I saw something bigger. I wanted something bigger. I wanted to be part of a bigger office, have a lot of agents around me. I joined Keller Williams in Studio City, and I joined a team in that office, which we always recommend any agent that's getting their license is to join a large team, very successful, to have that mentorship, to have the opportunity to host open houses, and just learn. That's your dues that you're going to pay. So I joined that team, stayed a year under that team, did 11 transactions that year.
That's awesome.
And it was a really good year. It was 2004. 14, sorry. 14, yeah. Add a one to that. 2014. And then right after that, went solo, hired an assistant, into naturally, organically, a couple of friends, hey, you're doing well, can we work together? And this whole team thing started. I started having about 2 or 3 people on my team while she was building her team. And
just by myself.
Under her own brokerage.
Yeah.
And then a call came in where, hey, we started talking about, hey,
possibly partnering. And we kind of...
first you went to the agency.
So I was independent. And at that time, you're talking about now we're at 2018. So I had a couple girls underneath me. I was doing...
I love the time reference.
Yeah,
so
independently.
Perfect. I love it.
Independently,
I love it.
Probably like anywhere 35 to 40 million. That had no split. So I was fine. And I was doing my husband's deals, my own deals, and everything was great. And I ended up in escrow with the managing partner of the Agency Calabasas on the other side. And he had never met a successful independent. And he was like, you need to come to the agency. And I remember telling him, I always tell everyone this story, what part of 100% don't you understand? No, I'm not coming. And he really opened my eyes to what I was missing. So for me, I knew in the back of my mind that when you start to move in the luxury space, and I was started getting $3.5, $4, $4.5, $5 million listings, that client cares about your brand affiliation. So I felt like being an independent gave me a cap that when I was going against the agency or, you know, some of these bigger agents for listings, I didn't have the marketing machine behind me. So I kind of already knew that, and I happened to end up in escrow with him like right around the time that I already had discovered this in my mind, but I was kind of trying to like, I don't need that. And he sat down with me eventually and said, look, you don't have to stay. If in 1 year your production has not dramatically increased, go.
Are they still with the agency?
Are they? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he sat down with me, and then I said, okay, fine, you have to sit down with my husband. He said, are we hiring him too? I'm like, sort of, it's in partnership, right? Sat down, made a deal, had a tequila shot. And I was like, really? It's like 4, at least 3.
Love it.
I mean, that's how we
that's how the
shake on
agency
it.
does it.
That's how it does it.
Yeah.
And then George at the same time was already kind of looking for some new brand affiliation, and he was talking to Compass, and he was talking to other.
I got my broker license at the time. 2
he was
years
broker
later,
too. Yeah.
I got my broker
That's smart.
license. Had, you know, pretty decent team. I was doing about 30, 35 million. She's doing
Same.
about 30, 35 million.
Yeah.
And you know, I think you were there for a year before me.
Yeah.
And she said, like, it's pretty amazing. We just chit-chatted. I went to Compass, went to different companies, didn't feel it. Said, you know what? Well, let me join.
You know, I have to comment on something specifically that I think that a lot of people don't realize, okay? They are so focused, and as somebody who's newer in the business, I'm such an observant person of tactics that people do. You guys, what you guys do. I'm like, oh, okay, like they're not reinventing the wheel. They've just crafted their own business.
Correct.
And the thing is, a lot of people are so focused that they want to be in the luxury space, which is an amazing goal. Keep that goal, but nurture the relationships that you have. Like George would have never been with Gina if he just like, it's all about that little baby relationship of a seed and where you guys are now.
Right.
Like hearing
it's
that
a
you are from
journey.
the Middle
It's been a
East, it
beautiful
brings so
journey.
much perspective to why you're giving back, why you're creating the platform that you guys have created. But people, I feel as if are I'm sure you hear about this all the time. They're so focused on trying to meet this billionaire, and they've never closed a $40 million deal before. But let me just go to Steak 48 in Beverly Hills, sit and have a drink at 5 p.m., which is awesome and all. But if you're a hot girl, they may be looking for something else. Mind you, this is stuff that goes on in Beverly Hills. I'm going on a complete tangent because people sometimes don't realize that the relationships that you have in your life right now, those people are the most important relationships because you don't know where those relationships. So maybe focus on like nurturing the relationships that you are having right now. And maybe you will meet that person that does want to buy a $40 million home. Like, can you guys just speak on the relationship?
We're going to get
like,
there. And look, listen, to be clear, George and I are, we're top producers, but within our company, I think we sell the most units.
Yeah.
At all. That means we don't sell $40 million houses. We sold 146 houses last year.
It's a lot of houses.
It's a lot of houses to hit our numbers. Okay, because we sell in the Valley, because we don't sell in Beverly Hills, but we know our market. We know what we're good at, and that means 146 families came to us last year for us to do that. We didn't hit 200 million by doing 4 sales. Yeah, it doesn't. You know, that's not how we did it.
There are people that do that,
and
that's amazing.
I mean, look, I wish.
Yeah.
Okay, but the reality is that we have made our business model is to service every client like they're the most important client. We come from a place of service for our team, for each other, for our clients. Like, I don't care if you're a $200,000 condo, which, okay, that doesn't exist right now, but you know, you're whatever, or you're the most expensive house we have in the queue. You will be dealt with like you're our important client. And because that condo is going to send us other business, and we know it. And so it's hugely valuable to us. And organically over time, that price point has increased on its own. Then that turned into the 8 mil, the 9 mil. Those come after years and years in the business and years of doing it right? Unless you have family connections or some other way that's going to give you some shoe in, which again, more power to everyone that
We
has
didn't
that.
have any of that.
We don't. We came
had
from
no
very
handouts,
conservative
no
backgrounds.
business managers. No one was handing us anything. So we had to like really work hard to build the relationships, to talk to more people, to do the amount of transactions that we do now and build that. And just going back to relationships, and if you don't have the right relationships around you, then go find the right people around you that are doing better than you, that are smarter than you. You don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
No.
That's never going to help you elevate in life. So you want to create new relationships and nurture the right relationships around you that are going to help you get to that next level. And we have agents on our team that want $40 million, $50 million listings, but they're not able to get a $1 million listing. And we tell them all the time, and a lot of these agents had a really rough year last year. And we tell them all that, even if you do get that $40 million listing, we don't know if it's going to sell. You're going to spend a lot of money on it. Could sit on the market for 2 years. Right? So it doesn't mean anything. Yes, you got it, great. And then what?
It's got to sell. And and I think that also, if you're selling, let's say, a $40 million house, if I'm that client, there's no way I'm handing my listing to somebody who is not a seasoned veteran in this business. It is far too large of a transaction. So if that happens, I mean, it's literally like the same as you walking and getting a lead in some, hit movie, like immediately when you're an actor. It's just, it's not that it doesn't happen. It's just like, there are Brad Pitts running around, right? But like, it's unlikely, right?
I mean, Brad Pitt actually
he did the work. I shouldn't say that.
He used to wear a Chick-fil-A costume in the chicken. Swear to God.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He used to stand at like La Cienega and 3rd in a Chick-fil-A, like a Cluck You chicken or something was, in a chicken costume. But he was so good looking. And it was something like that. And I think that if you do bring a $40 million listing and you're somebody who's a newer agent like myself, that I would be co-listing. And something that I learned that I want you guys to speak about specifically, because you have built a team and you do have other staff underneath you, but I want you to speak from either specifically toward an agent that's working solo and they want to create content, or something where you guys are creating what you're doing right now with social media. And so I was talking to this agent and we were talking about like a $40 million listing. And he turned to me and he said, and it's somebody with the agency, and I didn't realize this, and it was just one of those things that I was just like, I learn everything as I go in this business and I'm open to all of it, as opposed to being like a know-it-all. And he was like, I'm just letting you know, people don't realize how expensive it is to have that listing. You don't just have the listing. And maybe you don't have the Rolodex. Maybe you don't have the clientele, where it's like people don't realize how expensive it is for the marketing of that house. It's great and all, but I was like, I didn't realize that.
You're in the negative from the beginning.
You don't just have your name on it. You have to do all this advertisement. You have to pay to have a big spread in the MLS. You want to put in a magazine. You want to put in Calabasas Style. Like all these things are cost.
LA Times and all of it.
Everywhere. And it's a fortune to market those listings properly. And everything from the events that are required for you to bring the proper agents to come see that listing, all those things, the proper, featuring it. You want to have it in international, marketing place. Like you want to send it all these different places. Not only do you need the Rolodex, and you know what to do with it, but you need to make sure that it goes where it needs to go, so that the right eyeballs are on it, right? Because there are very few people in the world that can buy it at that price point. So, you need to make sure you're in front of the right people.
And handle these conversations well, right? About the property, the area, the contracts for something that large. Most probably there's going to be attorneys and business managers involved.
So, like 40 other people, not the client that you're talking to.
So it's like, some agents are so just focused on putting just their name on that deal. But we tell them all the time, hey, half of a deal is better than no deal. So go and call the Mauricio, Santiago, James, and David Harris, for example, if needed, and have them help you get that deal and learn from them, right? And then once you're under their wing and you're seeing how they handled it, how they marketed that property, split the expenses with them. Now it's, it's a partnership and maybe it'll sell. And now you have your name on this big sale that you could even market further and get other sales like it. Instead of just focused on, no, I just want me on it.
Right.
A lot of people are just about me.
Yeah, on one of those, you're like lucky if you get a sixth of it.
Right.
There's like 7 agents.
Oh, a lot of them are.
Or
yeah.
brokerages.
Several different agents on it.
I'll just take 20 grand for my name, please. Let me just have
George and I, like, we're good with our 5 mil over here.
Yeah.
Like, we get our own 5 mil.
But you guys are so good with that.
Yeah.
And like with your marketing, like, because now you guys are a team, what are some of the specifics that you have in place when it comes to the marketing of your brand and your business?
I think that first when we decided to partner and we said, okay, you're doing 35 to 40, I'm doing 35 to 40. Now we do 80. Okay. That was a big one. So partnering boosted our numbers out the gate. And then after that, we started doubling our numbers every year because we were putting those things in the right, putting those right wheels in motion. So we have a weekly meeting that we treat like a listing appointment. We do not have things that go in that time slot. We meet every Monday at 10 a.m. unless it's like Christmas, Thanksgiving, things like that, 4th of July. We skip those Mondays. But other than that, every Monday, 10 a.m. in person, it's our management staff. So it's George and I, our 2 right-hand assistants who are also licensed, our marketing manager, our social media manager, like our client coordinator, and our, like, we call him like a data kind of guy. He helps with all of our back end,
Technology.
tech, kind of stuff. Every single Monday we meet. We go over every different category, what's on deck for the week in different
Every single
departments.
post that we have that goes on for the week, we actually
discussed.
schedule it ahead of time, discuss that, and then we incorporate anything else that we're going to post personally. So we have the whole thing scheduled for the entire week, every week throughout the year.
Yeah.
That's
And-
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
We do
have
it in
to
weekly blocks.
Right.
Yeah.
And we made a commitment 3 years ago to, so this is something that
a funny story.
she was against me. You talk to these social media managers and it's like post
Multiple times a day.
multiple
Oh my
times
God,
a
I
day
know.
on multiple platforms.
I know.
And I go, George, we cannot do that.
I know.
We will be so annoying. I remember telling him, no.
I used to do that.
And
When
I
I used
said-
to do like a lot of fitness stuff, I used to have to, this is probably like 10 years ago. And a couple of my friends were like, Jess, like, it was like 3-4 times a day. This is before
Well,
TikTok.
look, I said, if someone gets annoyed, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to unfollow you. They're probably not going to buy or sell. So let
He
them
goes,
unfollow you.
So F those people. We don't want
So
them
fuck it.
anyway. And then he said, I don't care. I remember what he said. He goes, G, I don't care I don't care what they say. He goes, I want them to go to sleep and think, I want to list with George and Gina. Wake up in the morning. If I ever have to sell my house, I'm going to sell George and Gina.
You never
It's
know when that
brainwashing.
person is going to be thinking about buying, selling, or they meet someone that thought about it or maybe wants to invest, and you got to be there.
Yeah.
You got to be on that magazine at their house. You got to be in their mail. You got to be on their social media.
Yeah.
You got to be on an ad on their ESPN or CNN or whatever. You got to be everywhere, right?
And he was right. He was right about that 100%.
Oh,
I have to give him credit.
I
And
like that.
We committed to it. And then about a year later, so we just committed to a schedule and, did what we did, hired somebody to help us with social media. And he's just full-time with us. And
There's no way you could do that as a solo agent.
no, forget
Hire
that.
someone.
Hire someone to help you. And look, even if you hire somebody who's in college, who's working on like interning and things, because the way tech moves, it moves so quickly. Like most of these kids can do, like, I mean,
know.
so, we hired somebody who was, had an interest in real estate, good background in video editing, social media, tech, the things that we were lacking, right? So about a year later, I started to notice that I couldn't go anywhere without anyone going. I'd walk into, school mom events. They're like, you're killing it.
Oh,
Like, and I would, excuse me? Like, because all of a sudden that was the message that the public was receiving. Like, because it had resonated. And then people would just say, oh, I follow you on Instagram. We're ready to list our house. Like, this is, it was happened about a year of us committing to the schedule. And then something that we are both not good at is being in front of the camera organically, right? So there's some people I watch in our industry who are so good at like taking
John Grumman.
Yeah, John Grumman. They just put a camera up, Yana Chernoff, like they just throw a camera up and they start talking, right, to their audience, and people are listening to them. George and I are both, I think, a little bit shy and like we want to share. It's not like, it's just not our thing, like normally, not shy, just like kind of like awkward, right? We
You
didn't
guys
wanna,
are doing great today.
no, we're good at like interviewing. I mean
More
like that, like,
literally waking
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
getting in
yeah.
the car and just grabbing that
like,
camera.
yeah,
and
talk
yeah,
about,
saying,
hey
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
today. So,
Yeah.
but then we decided, okay,
It's a skill.
People were attaching themselves to us. And then, so our marketing guys, like, you guys need to be in front of the camera more. So then
Yep.
we said, okay, we will commit to filming once a week, which we do. And even though our weeks are insane and some weeks we're like, oh my God, there's not time for this. We're doing our house tours like during COVID because that was the only way we could do opens, right? And we started those. And then we started to see that people wanted to watch those more than they were watching.
They want to see you walk into the house and explain, you know, the layout and the finishes and what's special about this property and the schools, where it's located and the style, every little, you know, bits and pieces versus watching a, you know, a professional video with a camera walking through the house.
We just spent a fortune. Like we had a model to walk through and like do that and spend a fortune on that. And people weren't even watching him.
Well, I think like a lot of people have this fear of like, either they just have this fear of maybe I'm not in the place of where George and Gina is and I'm closing all these deals. I don't have all these listings. And I've spoken about this on other episodes.
Go to
I'm
open
like,
houses.
People love these finishes. Find out what marble it is.
Correct.
Right.
Just find out. Like ask the agent, find out if this is engineered flooring or if it's real wood. Find out. Find out if it's white oak or like find those things out. And I'm just like, talk about
knowledge.
it.
You're in real estate.
Like those
you should
things.
know about all these things.
You should.
Well, I didn't know about any of this,
That drives
but
me
I
crazy.
learned.
It drives me crazy and sorry to be, but I don't like it when agents don't know information and they don't try to find it. Like I'm self-taught. George is self-taught. Like we both are licensed brokers, but we didn't have anyone teaching us. Like we didn't have, I mean, he went in for a team for a little while, but I never had a person telling me like, this is how you do the business. I learned this business completely by myself, which I don't recommend, but I had to ask so many questions and read and research and review contracts and research stuff and figure out how to do things. And I feel like there's that little bit of like, I don't know how to do that, so I just won't. Like, where is that? Like, why aren't they getting after it? Like,
All
why aren't
the
they
information
researching?
is there.
Everything you can Google anything.
You don't
now.
have to hire a coach to have a coach. YouTube has all the
Oh my
coaches
God, I
on
love
there.
YouTube.
Literally.
But can you speak on the specifics? Because someone has said to me, you know, be honest.
Right.
Be honest. Like,
Right.
you want to work with those big clients, always be honest. People
Right.
would much rather somebody be honest.
Totally.
But if you're at an open house and somebody asks you a question, if you don't know the answer, don't lie, but say,
Let me find
I
out.
don't know that. I'll find you out. Can I get your information so I can text you the response to it?
Absolutely.
And that's a
Exactly.
way of getting another lead or just somebody's email.
It's a conversation or make a joke about it. Like there's still to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in this business 18 years. Like there's still to this day things that happen every once in a while that I'm like, whoop, never seen that before. Like that's a first, right? So it's okay to say that you don't know it. And when I was in the bar, when people, I just told this story in Vegas, when people give me a drink that I didn't know, I was like 21 and I'd be like, free drink if you stump the bartender. Like I didn't know it. So why do I gotta pretend that I know it?
Yeah. I want to ask, Gina, I want to ask you something specifically.
Sure.
Okay. So you are beautiful. Like you walked in here and I was like, you're hot. Like I could say this.
Thank you.
And here's the thing with this industry is that like there's tons of beautiful women and tons of beautiful men, but I want to speak specifically with Gina about this because a lot of times either men want to take advantage of a woman, not like he's going to go in there and like try to have sex with her, but like take advantage of a woman. Maybe if she's showing a house or like the way that they talk to you. And like what I've really observed, the way that you do business is like one of them is like, I don't know if you know this about yourself, but your poise is exceptional. From the way that you stand, and I've watched you in meetings, and George is agreeing with me, the way that you stand in meetings, the way that you look at someone when you're talking to them, there's not 20 people around, you're really focused and you're giving them your time. But like somebody who's, again, like a pretty woman in this business, there's a lot of misconceived notions of you're fucking a guy to get, just like to get a listing.
Right.
You're just like, and it's like, no, I'm busting my ass. Can you speak on that specifically?
Sure. I mean, look, to be fair, I have been licensed since I got out of college. So you are meeting, I'm 42 now, but you didn't meet 22 me, right? And so some of that just comes with being a veteran in this business. Like I have been on the loan side, I've been on the mod side, I've negotiated short sales, I am in the retail space. And so there's a lot of knowledge that the poise comes from knowing, actually truly knowing your craft and knowing that most of the time you're going to know what's going on, right? There are a few things that are going to you're not going to understand or follow, right? I've also been, for many, many years, my husband and I have been in a high level real estate mastermind that's just for real estate investing. It's a nationwide thing. And I learned all different types of real estate, different markets, wholesale markets, what they do in Atlanta, what they do here. And so I feel like that general continuing level of education has allowed me to speak on and have a very good base, right, of knowledge. So that's the first thing. Knowledge is power. And I think that as women, unfortunately, and it's better, but we still are not focused on educating ourselves and being the best at, if you're the best in your craft, I don't care if you are a supermodel, whatever comes out of your mouth, if it's the right thing, right, you will command that room. And I think that that's where that comes from. And also, I started this business when I was already with my husband. So I was never a single woman in this business. And I had a ton of support from my husband to get after it, do whatever. Gina has a lot of ambitions. Like, I'm an ambitious person. I've never not been that way, even as a child. So my husband has always been supportive of everything that I wanted to do and conquer and be. And he has supported that. So if I had ever needed anyone like to do anything with me, I've had a ton of that support because it's always been in partnership. It wasn't just like the Gina show, right? Like, I had a partnership going for it. And then now things get weird when you're a woman. I have weird people that follow me online that call my business line and get crazy. Like, it's this craziest thing. I get listing appointments. Yeah. If I don't know the person who's called me or they have not been referred to me, I don't go alone. Ever. Okay. I take George. Yeah. Okay. No way.
We've had a couple of weird ones.
Yeah. And so I am cautious in that way. But for the rest of that, I feel like.
Plus acting.
Yeah. Plus I have an acting degree. So that
helps.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because sometimes people are like, well, this guy's trying to take advantage of me. He's talking to me like he knows this. And
I just don't have time for that. I can sense it out immediately. And I'm like, I am not 18.
I think it's the full package. Yeah. So, a lot of, agents knew her, if she's hot, the way that she carries herself, what are you going to wear to that appointment, the way you're going to say things, automatically will give a message to the other person that that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for business and not here to go for lunch or dinner. You got to set that expectation. And if you're worried, then take a guy with you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Take that guy with you, colleague, take someone with you just to be protected. There's a lot of weird things going on in this world.
Yeah. Particularly with real estate agents right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's not anything bad, but I just think that people think because of the show is like Selling Sunset that they could be mimic and that end up be
correct.
And we hear stories of people, buyers, sellers calling, hot girls agents and tell them, hey, show me these houses, and they want to take them out to dinners or lunches. We know what happens. It's out there, and it's just a matter of filtering, knowing, reading that person. One, two, it could turn into something, but the way that you're going to carry yourself and set those expectations and draw that line, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, work with you. Dinner, I can't do dinner. I'm too busy. I got appointments. Yeah. Right? You just got to cut that out.
Yeah, you're right. And also, like, you can dress sexy and professionally. Yeah. And that is lost right now.
Right.
Sorry. Like, that is lost. And so you can also, there's a choice on how you're going to, what image are you portraying? What are you,
and it's also like, it's okay to be confident.
Totally.
Like, confidence is a good thing in this business. And
correct.
Like, they were talking about this at the meeting like a couple months ago, that there is an app, I can put it in the show notes. There is an app for agents. Specifically, you have to pay for it. It's like $20 a month. Yeah. And all you do is scan Jessica Fury and I'm going to see if I have any, if I've been...
background.
If I have a felony check.
Really?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I'll shoot it to Maggie. Hey, Maggie. I want you guys to talk about this towards newer agents, but more in a way of how they can get started. So a lot of newer agents, they are like, I want to do development. I'm sure you guys hear this all the time. I'll just find a flipper in this developer. Keeping it, yes, I know it's the relationships, but let's say that an agent, like myself, will say, wants to do development and they want to start in that place of development. What are some of the steps that you would suggest to somebody who is newer in the business and maybe they are interested in doing the type of work that you guys do specifically, or maybe they're looking to do development? What would be those things?
as far as just the question, they want to develop themselves or work with developers on new constructions?
Well, do they want to work with developers on new?
Yeah.
But everybody
Because I think you have to make money if you want to start developing yourself.
Correct.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Well-
plus a lot of experience or just have the right people around you.
We always tell and I'm going to let him answer that because this is really his bucket, but we always tell our agents, if you truly find a deal that is a good deal, we will find the money. That we can do. So the truth is if you really do find a deal that's a great deal and it can be developed, you can partner with us. We will find you a partner.
Yeah.
Because
There's people lined up to.
there's people beating down your door that will split with you
Right.
50-50 if you bring
Yeah.
that deal to the door. So that is the other way if you really
Okay.
want to get in. But,
But
I'll let him answer that.
The best way to do that is I met my first developer, and till today we still work together. We do a lot of business together. Door knocking. I was door knocking, and I saw this beautiful new construction. He had a Ferrari at the time parked right in the front, and I just went up to him. So I started chatting with him. Hey, tell me about the house. Told him who I am. I'm a realtor. You know, we have clients in the area. We sell in the area. He said, unfortunately, he's already committed with the agent that got him that deal. And I didn't even know how it works at the time. He said, yeah. He's like, bring me a deal. You have the listing back. I said, that's great. Are you looking to buy? Yes. What's your number? Got his number. Told me all about the new construction. Him and his family develop. Found out they're big developers. So my mission right after that was, I got to find this guy a deal, because once I find him a deal, he's going to tear it down and build it. And now I'm building future business, right? I literally made it my mission for the next 4 or 5 months right after that, door knock that entire neighborhood, find a tear down for him. As soon as I found that one, called him. We double-ended that deal, bought it cash, tore it down, built it. Year and a half later, we put that up for sale. And once that click happened and I realized how big of an impact that makes, where you have 2 transactions, it's cash, it's quick. Not every transaction is that easy, but
Yeah.
we always tell our agents, it's literally like connecting the dots, where you have all the buyers that are out there. And if you don't have it, someone else will have it, as far as developers go. You find the deal, and very quickly you'll find a developer. You could go on title search and search all the titles of all the cash buyers in the area and call all these developers that just bought cash in the area, and one of them will buy it. That's the easy part. The hard part is finding the property, and it doesn't cost you money. You could go door knock. You could get a list of phone numbers. You could call them. So it doesn't really cost a lot of money to start working with developers. It's just about the time, the consistency until you find that first deal. And once we started building a relationship with one, they bought a couple, but they can't buy everything. And some of them specialize in different areas. Some only want to buy in Studio City. Some only want to buy in Encino. Some only want to buy in Brentwood and Palisades. So now you start building relationships with different developers, and they want different deals, different lot sizes. Some want multifamilies. And you start building this great development business where you're really building. We have new constructions coming up for in the next 2, some 3 years that are already lined up. We know our pipeline for the next couple of years for these deals. I think it's amazing. I love that part of the business. I really enjoy it.
That's why you guys are going to get to a 500 million.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
But I think you said the one word that a lot of agents, wherever they are in their business or their career, it's consistency.
It is.
Like consistency, like.
Until today, we work
So many
literally
hours.
7 days a week sometimes, and it's from morning, nighttime emails. Until today, we do that.
Well, nighttime emails in the morning. That's what I'm going to ask you, George. Guys, George is in incredible shape. Like, he has these huge muscles. He's like hiding it today. You'll just have to go to his Instagram. He has these huge muscles, George. And your baby is 2, 3?
He's 2.5.
Okay. And your wife. You guys are busy. Busy.
It's
Give me a full day of what you do, because obviously you're not just waking up and looking like I woke up like this. You have to put the work in, even in your physical body, your mind.
I don't work
Give
out.
me give me a day in a life in the day of what you do with your schedule, from working out. You have a young child. Just
Yeah.
break it down.
Everything starts with morning routine. literally, like, this is something that we talked about with our agents, with everyone, everything that we've learned from coaching. Wake up early, 5:30, 6. By 6, we're up. I'm up. Coffee, go to the gym, at the gym by 6:30, have my hour workout. Usually I have that 30 minutes to have that morning routine on gratitude and writing, important things down that I want to write down in my life, maybe do a couple of affirmations. If I don't have time, I'm at the gym. I usually do about 20-minute, 15-minute cardio at the end, and I have my headphones on, either listening to a podcast, YouTube affirmations, a motivational video, things that I listen to and then I would share with the team. So always starting that morning on a really, really high note. By 7:30, 8 o'clock, I've already done my workout, my affirmations, visualization, sometimes meditate for 10 minutes if I can. So if I've already done as much as I can in that morning time, by 9 o'clock, latest, I'm out of the house.
Wait, is your son needing you?
No, he wakes up by 8:39.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's kind of lucky.
Yeah.
And Rita has her own schedule, but the
nanny
baby
comes at 8:30.
Okay, but the thing is, like, the consistency and like and then when you're at home, like, are you then like with your family?
Before having a baby, it was morning routine has always been there. Before having the baby, I was working till 7 at night sometimes, 8 at night, come back home, we'll have time with my wife and go to sleep all over again. Once we had our son, things changed, had to be home earlier, and now he's at that 2.5 mark. I think we started doing this about 6-7 months ago, where I was coming home late, I wasn't present, and I had to do some kind of a shift, a change. So we told the team too, 6 o'clock is my family time. From 6 to 8:30, both of us, don't call us unless it's an emergency. And I'm coming home, I'm putting my phone upside down somewhere away from me so I could be present with my family, because those 2.5 hours is my family time. I get to have dinner together, get to spend time together, shower him, put him to sleep. So that time is blocked for family, and it's really life-changing when you really put your phone away and be present. And I realized how much more interactive I am with my son and how much closer we got. Now he misses me when I come back home, and a lot of parents don't do that. I have a couple of friends, they leave in the morning, they come back late at night. They literally play with their kid maybe sometimes an hour a week until the weekend comes. Then when they're with their kid that weekend, and you got to block that time. You got to do less. You got to do more in less time, and it's difficult. This is why you have to have that time block for everything. We don't have time to chit chat. We don't have time to go in an hour and have lunch.
Oh, we don't do that, by the way.
But you guys are like,
we bring our food. We
structure.
We have our meal prep.
We have our food with us in our cars, both of us right now. And we'll probably eat in our car when we leave here. Honestly, we don't have time. Like the people, our agents, like, oh, I'm going to go to lunch. George and I, like, who's got time for that? Like there's no.
But your kids are like the age group of your kids.
Our kids are
mine are 11 and 9.
They're 11 and 9.
Yeah.
But when you started a charity, you do a lot of like nonprofit work.
Yeah, we so my daughter is on the spectrum and she has a rare seizure disorder. So she started that at 2.5. We thought we had 2 typical children. My son's older, and she started having seizures at 2.5, and that was a very challenging time in my life because I was already very busy, and at like 20, 2.5, you basically a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? And then I was busy with work too. And there are a few things that will put you in check very quickly. Then, your daughter's starting to have 9 to 10 seizures a day, and you don't know how to control that, right? So that was one of the most challenging times in my life for sure. It took 9 to 10 months for us to get it under control. We couldn't leave the house, really, not both of us. Like one would be home. We have live-in support. But you can't leave your child when it's like that. So you would have to, I would be out showing a house, my husband would be home, switch, making sure that we are okay, hours and hours, weeks in children's hospital at a time, just like more than I could have ever asked, more than I would ever wish on any family, like to have. Now she's amazing. She's in control.
That's awesome.
She has gone further than
happiest baby.
the
She's
happiest
incredible.
child, the greatest gift.
Love it.
Definitely chose me or chose us. Like without her, I don't know if the story is the same, because it's a very humbling experience to go through. So it deepened mine and my husband's relationship, which I think could have broken a marriage, really, but it actually made us closer because we had to really stick together to navigate that, at that time. And now it's just, I feel like after, this long in the business and the ages that my kids are, and most of my clients are pretty respectful of my time. When I get on the phone with them, like, I'm coming to bat when it's time. We have 2 wonderful licensed assistants who can answer and filter most questions. And then they say, you need to call so-and-so, when you get out of your meeting. We do. Like, it's a very, they know that when it's time to do contract negotiations and big decisions, that they trust us. They trust that we have it handled. They trust that the team has it handled. And that part is great, because when you created a great infrastructure, you create that time. Like, you've created the time the way you need it to. So you have to, now having gotten to this place in my career, I feel like most of the people, I wouldn't work with people that didn't respect my time. Like, really, because you can't live your life that way,
But I think also
some agents are proud of that. Well, I answer my calls day and night, anytime. I'm always available 7 days a week. That's great, maybe in the beginning, but
it doesn't.
but later on in life, that doesn't really work.
Well, I think that, like, you are with what you give to yourself to others.
Correct.
And, like, you do that so well, both of you. But, like, when I was listening to you, Gina, because when you spoke about this at the beginning, you know how to pivot. You have your systems in place way before you guys were doing $213 million worth of transactions. And it's like, sometimes the simplest things that you're doing right now are going to create the foundation of your success in your business. And I like the futuristic, the visionary. I'm all about the affirmations, morning routines. But I think what's really cool about you guys is, like, you're okay with being like, no, everything that you do from the time you wake up, those things will create your success. And I just love that you guys do that. And I love that you guys came on to here. I like to ask all my guests 3 questions before they leave me. You've already answered one of them, George. But what is a non-negotiable in your morning routine that sets you up for the day?
I've already answered
For
that.
me, it's workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've said your affirmation.
If I skip it, I get not happy.
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you. Not my favorite.
You have to commit to that. Whatever it is, you don't have to do all of it. I don't do everything every day, but just work out. Or, some people like to read or go out for a walk. Wherever it is that's going to put you in, in a present, calm, just good starting that day with really good energy, right? And forgetting about what happened yesterday. Because if you wake up and look at your emails in the beginning of your day and there's that bad, terrible email from a client or whatever it is, you just got sucked in.
Yeah. No, I like to, I talk about this all the time on episodes. I don't touch my phone for the first hour, because it's not that it's like a little woo-woo, but I think that your inner power starts from the inside. And the moment that you look at social media, you give your power away.
100%.
You allow someone to dictate and dominate your thoughts and your feelings, because your energy goes into someone else.
Absolutely.
Likes, you're going to see someone else's listing, and then you're giving away your power.
Right.
And if everyone doesn't wake up like in the best mood. Sometimes they're grumpy. Sometimes they didn't get good sleep. This is normal human stuff. But it's like that moment that you take to yourself to be like, okay, what do I have to do to ground myself, to make myself good for the day? Like,
it also depends on what your morning is, because, like, for us, yes, we can do that because it's 6 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
But, like, when you have agents that are like rolling out at 10, well, you lost half your day. So, we can get it because we're in earlier than everyone else, right? And that's part of it. It's waking up early.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids that have to get off to school. So
that
it's
means
non-negotiable.
sleep early.
That means sleeping early. And that means committing to that time for you before it gets crazy, because it will get crazy.
Yeah.
And then you'll have lost that. The only thing I really do for me for self-care that is the thing that I need to do is that I need to work out.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely need that time.
What is a piece of advice or suggestion that you can offer to someone, whether in business, their relationships, or in their mental health?
Go, G.
Okay. in a relationship, I'll answer in a relationship because I feel like we did a lot of business today. So I feel like I've been with my husband almost 20 years. So this year is 20 years for us. And I feel like I see so many times that marriages that struggle when you are really busy, when there's a lot of things. And I think that if people just put the other person first, you will have the greatest success in your relationship. So if you can approach everything from a non-selfish, like not what's in it for me. And it's also how we approach our business relationship. We are not me first. Whenever we have to discuss anything, splits on things or whatever, it's whatever you think is fair. We have never once, I'll knock, had any issues with things like that, because we don't do that. We just put the other person first.
Yeah.
Because the relationship is more valuable than that one thing. And if you are not short-sighted, any relationship, whether it be your client, your team, your partner, your husband, is going to be more successful if everyone just took a beat and said, really, do I need this? And can I just be, service and just, and if you do that, you'll be successful.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture.
Always.
Look at the bigger picture. Come from service, like she said. And just as far as like relationships and having, if you have a wife at home or a husband at home, or a girlfriend, something that helped me get to where I got today is in the beginning when I was working day and night, my wife now wasn't, hey, be at home at 5 or 6. I want to spend time with you. She was supportive. She knew she was on the journey with me from day one when we had nothing until where we are now. And she knew that I'm working towards something. We had together these big goals, and she gave me that space to build the business that we have today. So you have to have someone with you that understands where you're going and your journey, and give you that space with a good balance.
Supportive,
I think that's very
never
important.
selfish.
Supportive, exactly. I think that's
surrounding yourself with also like-minded people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are so blessed now. We have a network of friends that do what we do, that are some are more successful than us, and we feel so blessed because over the years I feel like we've attracted people who are just like us, and it's been a really cool thing to find like-minded people who have great marriages, who are successful, who are not satisfied with where they are, who are not about gossip, not about just about doing the best them that they can be, and supporting everybody else.
A nice. That's I totally forgot. You guys went to like Poppy Steak for your.
Yeah.
What is going on?
It was a good birthday celebration.
They brought out like a T-bone. Is that what it is?
It was like this whole presentation of the steak in a box, and
I was like watching it.
All the staff comes, and it was
but it
fun.
is cool. That's the love you guys have.
Yeah.
What are 3 qualities peers would say about you?
Kind, nice, kind. That we were always sharing. It's never, we're never trying to hide anything from anyone. We're always open-handed, sharing everything that we have with all the other agents, making them feel like a family. So there's no secret that we have that we keep to ourselves. We share everything. So kind, loving, sharing.
I think something that's
You guys are hardworking.
we're hardworking.
Hardworking.
I think hardworking. I mean, we work hard. I mean, we are like first in, last out.
You called me at 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
You're
Okay, after kids, I
hardworking.
always answer people. I say after kids go to bed, I'll call you. I wait for them to go to bed, and then I return calls. But the other part is too, I think that people appreciate that they know what they're going to get with us. Like, it's not a mystery. Like, George's going to walk in the office, he's going to have a smile on his face, and he's going to be like, what's up? We're going to ready to do the day. We never have this like drab energy. Like you kind of know there's a consistency in like work ethic, yes, but a consistency in that what to expect when you talk to us, because that's what we try to bring to the table every
And you're
day.
generous with your time. Even if it's like 10, 15 minutes, you'll
Too
say, I
generous
have
sometimes.
10, 15 minutes. What was that?
Too generous sometimes.
Yeah,
But being you're like,
Yeah.
I have 10 minutes. Show me what you got.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys being here. Where can people find you? Plug yourself.
Go ahead.
We're all over Instagram. George Ouzounian.
Gina Michelle. Yeah, follow us on Instagram. We make it fun.
We'll share our journey with everyone out there.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. You could just Google our name and follow us and join us.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys, they have beautiful new construction. They have a lot new listings in the Palisades. They have this beautiful listing in the Palisades and Encino, and they do great work. So even if you just look at their work, and if you're looking to buy a house, you can reach out to any of us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
this
you
was
so
fun.
much for being here. You guys can follow me at Jessica J. Fury, at Jessica Fury Real Estate, and like, subscribe, and follow the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.